Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of October 8th, and we are indeed out of the eclipse. We're in the clear of the eclipses, but I'm calling this time that we're in the eclipse hangover. There's definitely an adjustment period that we are going through this week, and also there is a couple of planets turning retrograde and direct, and planets moving into new signs. You know, there is a lot of challenging aspects. There is that eclipse hangover. We have a couple of tougher squares building between planets this week in the astrology, but there's also some really, really beautiful parts of things to lean into also. And so as far as, you know, the report this week, I feel like there definitely is a heaviness to it, but that there are silver linings if we can continue to just breathe through everything that's happening. I don't know if, you know, the astrology affects everybody, so totally different, but I know that I've definitely been seeing a lot of people having just like tough times and sharing about just being really exhausted and being pushed to their limits, and they're just feeling like, when is the hard work gonna be over with? And I'm like just developing the eclipse hangover theory here. There has just been a thrust. There has been a wormhole. There has been a portal that we just traveled through when the eclipses come through. And so it's just like having a jet lag after a flight where your body has been flung through space. We have been hurtled through, and there has been massive shifts that have taken place over the last few weeks with the eclipses. They come through. They are called cosmic course correctors, and so we can trust that whatever activities take place around eclipses are going to end up being for our highest and greatest good. And so there is a nervousness to the eclipse hangover. There's like a feeling of being really raw, like an open wound or an open nerve. And there can be nausea associated with it, just being super tired, being irritable, and having, you know, the massive amounts of adrenaline that are flowing through the system. Once those wear off, there's like this shakiness and this feeling in the pit of your stomach after having an adrenaline rush and the aftershocks from that. And maybe you're just feeling like your body is in shock right now. And this too shall pass, of course. And hang in there. The best thing to do is to pull together your tribe and ask for support if you need that. Accept support when it's offered to you, because those are two different steps of getting support in your life. You have to reach out and ask for that and be vulnerable enough to throw it out there that, hey, I'm overwhelmed. I've got just all this stuff I'm processing. And just then the next step of that is when they say, yes, I would love to support you, that you accept that support also. And it's all to continue on doing these very purposeful, deep, lovely, beautiful things in our life that bring us all this joy. And we just want to make sure that we indeed are getting our cup filled up, and that we are accessing those moments to find whatever it is, you know, that we need to fill fill our cup, to bring some comfort, and to find the strength and the chill that it needs, the zen that it needs to move through tough times in life. So that was a little bit of, I felt like I just kind of gave a little bit of a self-help talk, but indeed the astrology and spirit was asking me to deliver that message right there. And as we enter this week, there is absolutely still this grand water trine happening that I talked about last week. We have Venus in a water sign Scorpio. We have Saturn and Neptune in water sign Pisces, and Mars traveling through the water sign of Cancer. And so, as you're treating yourself, go to the water, go to the cleanses, go to the detoxification, go to the flowy movements, even if you're a dancer who expresses themselves and, gets a lot of joy out of, moving your body, like just taking on the aspect of water and just moving like water in any way, embracing the element of water, which represents our emotions, the feminine sign, the water signs are known to be feminine signs, and they deal with our emotions. They deal with the way that we feel and also our sensitivities. And so when we do have this water trine, our sensitivities can come out. We can become kind of vulnerable. We can become kind of open. But indeed, during this time, that is going to lead to healing, because Jupiter is just about to station retrograde as we speak, and is basically stopped anyways at this moment, right around 21 degrees of Gemini, and going to be stationing retrograde this week and go into a multi-month retrograde cycle in Gemini. This is bringing us some beautiful healing, because Jupiter is stationing right in a perfect sextile with Chiron. Chiron, that deals with our immortal wounds, that deals with the healing that we need in this life. Chiron's in Aries, bringing in new beginnings, Aries with these healings. And so Jupiter comes in, stations, just spends a ton of time talking with Chiron, spreading what Jupiter does. Good luck and good vibrations. I mean, really an expansive planet. Jupiter brings in a lot of joy and a lot of wisdom. And then we will move into this retrograde later. But this beautiful sextile here, I am settling in on as one of the really positive aspects this week. There are going to be big gifts that come in here when the healing is accepted, and when we can become vulnerable and really let these immortal wounds shift inside of us. Jupiter has the power to do that. Jupiter is the king of the gods and has the most wisdom of all planets and the most expansive energy, and leaves gifts everywhere that he goes. So here, I think, is something to really lean into. And where is 21 degrees of Gemini in your chart and 21 degrees of Aries in your astrological birth chart? Those are two places that if this is, zinging you and you're really feeling this Jupiter Chiron thing, go to your birth chart and check that out and see where that is and what areas of your personal life that this is going to be playing out, especially folks who are, Jupiter is rules the sign of Sagittarius. So folks that are Sagittarius or have planets, points, ascendant in Sagittarius, check out, because this is your ruling planet. So this Jupiter retrograde is going to be affecting you personally. How? That's how we use our astrological birth chart. So lots of internal opportunity and expansion. When Jupiter goes retrograde, we bring that wisdom from the outside to the inside. Retrograde is just when a planet appears to be traveling backwards in the zodiac, in the sky. And then really in the astrological events and the astrological aspects, it's about going back and taking care of things in the past. And that is something that, is scary. And it's something that we can sometimes avoid doing, but retrogrades are there to support us. And then we accept that support and we work with that energy. And we have that ultimate love, unconditional love there between you and the universe. And that's a beautiful thing, having that faith there. So that is the intro to our week. And as we move along here, we get into some of the more tougher aspects. We see more squares and oppositions between planets. And then we are going to see Pluto station direct on October 11th. And this is going to sort of trigger along the opportunity for transformation and for truly moving forward out of old territory. Speaking of the past, Pluto moves very, very slowly. So this is the last time we will be in Capricorn for our lifetimes. And so there is a feeling of a final transformation that is taking place. And this is going to be felt as we move later into the week. There's also squares building between the sun and Mars. And Mars can be a quite forceful, aggressive type of energy. It can be irritable. It can be tense and just want to take action right now, not have a lot of patience. But it can also be an action that we take. And so there is action somehow here in the square anyways, because squares call for action to take place. There's also a square building between Mercury, the planet of our communication, which is at the final degrees of Libra, and has been helping us communicate more openly about our relationships and about the relationships we have with people and with, ourselves, within ourselves. Relationships just in all areas have been the word and will continue to be transforming as Mercury makes this square to Pluto in the final degrees of Capricorn. This actually could be the last time that Mercury and Pluto have a square while Pluto's in Capricorn. So there is something severely final about the conversations that are taking place within regards to Libran themes, which is also the law and contracts that we are involved in. And there is a balance that Libra wants to bring. So the communication is going to be hopefully very, very smooth and very balanced and very diplomatic in a way, because that is what Libra does. So we have this kind of feeling that we're moving gracefully into these changes and transformations, even though it's really, really tough. And that is going to lead the planet of Mercury into the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is a much different energy than Libra. We have Libra as a Venus ruled sort of pleasure seeking sign, an air sign that really likes to talk and start things. This is also a sign that will initiate new things, a cardinal sign. And then Scorpio being a fixed energy. That is a fixed sign where it kind of sits on things a little bit more and is a little harder to move and has to make these decisions truly for themselves to move forward. There is also to Scorpio, now we are dealing with our emotions, where Libra has that balance. We move into this more emotional communication, and Scorpio is the deepest of all of the signs in the zodiac. zodiac. So there is this depth that we go to, and Scorpio is the time when we can see that real deep, dark layers. They really come to light when we have these planets go there, these luminaries, right? So the planets, they're all luminaries. They're reflecting and bringing light into these areas and bringing, hopefully, their planetary wisdom along with them. So Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury is used to going deep, dark places and goes there often and is bringing us back beautiful opportunities to understand things on a much different level. There's subconscious activity that we're talking about here with Mercury going to the dark places and moving into Scorpio. And this is a gift because the message comes from the gods, and those are the messages that we're looking for. Those that's the cake and gravy right there. So bring it on. We want all the messages that we can get here from these powerful luminaries that we look to for a little understanding here. It's in astrology, it says as above, so below. So there is a reflection that happens when we have these aspects in the sky. We can see it reflected here in our plane, and that is how we can use it. And as these energies build and we see them building, we feel them building, we work through those energies and we move with the energy of the universe to clear these things out while the energy is good, while it's right. The last thing you want is to not be having dealt with your Pluto and Capricorn stuff right now. Right now is the time to deal with that. So yeah, go to your astrological birth chart. Where is 29 degrees Capricorn? What house is that? What are you finishing up right now? Capricorn is an ambitious energy. So when it's done, it's done. It's an earth sign. So we're building structure here in Capricorn. We've been doing it for 18 years with Pluto there. We've been transforming for the last, since 2008. So I'm not as good at math as I should be. 16 years there in Capricorn since 2008. And we have been transforming and rebuilding, burning down and rebuilding, killing and rebirthing everything that has been ruled by the sign of Capricorn in our birth charts. So what has that been for you? It's pretty amazing to see these things come full cycle, and you want to make sure that we are using these last moments here to really finish that out and to use our intuition to take the messages from the gods. We have 2 planets in the incredibly intuitive sign of Pisces. We have Saturn, the planet of responsibility and taking responsibilities in our life. That's kind of a more serious energy, actually the planetary ruler of Capricorn. So this is our ambitious energy. This is the hard worker in us. Saturn going retrograde in Pisces, really diving deep into the intuitive messages that we can receive in Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, the most mystical sign, and the place where we are most connected to the collective unconscious. So that is a place that we're tapping into with Saturn right now. And also Neptune. Neptune is the planetary ruler of Pisces. So when a planet is in their home sign, it's almost like we have a supercharged little moment going on there for Saturn, Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune is our unconditional love. That is the collective unconscious. The Neptune deals with all the things that are mystical and unknown and mysterious in this life. And also Neptune is the beautiful healer with unconditional love. So we have another healer here, with Pisces really dealing that out for us right now. It's available. And so really strong, powerful energies coming through this week. This is a power-packed report. I can feel my heart beating in my chest as I deliver these messages, and that just tells me that there is a lot going on here. And so again, lean into the areas where you can find support and lean into the places where you can find the gifts. There are truly gifts and lessons available in each moment. And that is something that's really something to focus on, if there is challenges. So, Mars, the planet of Mars, I want to just give everyone a heads up that we do have another retrograde getting set up here. Mars is going to be stationing retrograde in the 1st of December. We've had all of the other planets, once Jupiter goes retrograde on October 9th, the only one left for 2024 is the Mars retrograde. So Mars is already slowing down in Cancer, but is going to be stationing in Leo and returning to Cancerian areas. So it'll be another 2-sign retrograde where we're dealing with a couple of different energies, a couple of different phases. It adds just more kind of layers to our understanding and our experience of a retrograde when it moves through multiple signs. And so just wanted to give a heads up to that because Mars is our physical body, and Mars is actually the planet that retrogrades the very least. And so this energy can be felt pretty strongly. It's a personal planet and it's our physical body. So we can feel all those Mars themes, being a go-getter and being action-oriented. That some of that stuff can slow down and realize that when Mars is retrograde, that our action-oriented nature is going to be moving backwards. We're going to be looking at past events. We're going to be taking action based on things that have already happened. And so Mars, if not already in the shadow, very, very close at this moment. So we are actually getting set up and seeing the first phase of Mars retrograde. So pay close attention. Mars in Cancer is a very sensitive, Mars is kind of actually debilitated in the sign of Cancer and feeling a little less strong there anyways. And returning to the home for safety and security and defending the homeland there in Cancer, and now is actually starting to slow down in the physical body. We could feel it slow down, and there could just be kind of the action slows down a little bit. So that is a time to embrace, because we do want to go back and clean up all of those retrograde themes. So pay attention as we move into the future, as we're getting set up for the Mars retrograde also. And next week, my show starts at 4 p.m. I have a full hour show for the Fall Fun Drive next week. So on October 15th, you're going to tune in at 4 p.m. instead of 4:30. And I'm sorry, I'm caught up in the Eclipse Hangover, and I don't have any exciting deets for you on what I'm going to do on the show next week. I had one brilliant idea on the drive in today. So maybe that's the one. Maybe it's a message from the gods. Who knows? Gotta pay attention, right? You guys all take super good care, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.